So now I'm going to bring up my special guest, Matt Brown from Energize. You can start your video. Do I have to let you start your video, Matt? Hold on one second. Is that a whole thing here? I'm going to go to, can you hear me, Matt? Let me see
Yeah,
here.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can't start your video. Oh, there's your video. You're coming up. Perfect. So
Okay.
this is our after the CE talk. So Matt Brown is here from Energize, an awesome sponsor of Dental Nachos. We couldn't do anything without our sponsor. So I want to thank you for that, Matt. Tell our audience, what you do on a daily basis to help dentists smile. They help patients smile. You help dentists smile.
We provide a really trackable KPI-based marketing system where we use dental intelligence, the analytics product inside of every practice that joins with us gets it from us. We're their largest partner, and we track the patient from the web all the way to the chair, and we track collections and productions, and we actually bring it back to attribute reporting to the actual ads that developed those individuals. We also book the entire appointment process ourselves to take that kind of that labor off the front desk. A lot of times the scenario ends up being you hire this marketer and they generate 200 leads, 300 leads a month for your practice, and they take your front desk person and that poor girl, that's probably one of the toughest jobs in the practice. She's like the air traffic controller of your practice, and they dump 300 leads on her and they say, hey, not only are you going to deal with the patient in front of you that's high anxiety and deal with handling all this stuff for doc, we want you to cold call leads. And your marketer tries to repurpose them as like a telemarketer or someone for cold calling leads. We kind of handle that whole portion of the process to keep the labor off the practice. So we kind of handle the entire process from click to chair, and then provide very clear reporting on what your ROI was live up to the minute, month to month, day to day. We are Dental Intelligence's largest marketing partner, their third largest partner in the entire marketplace. And we have a very detailed reporting system.
Awesome. We had a fake snow data here, Matt. I know you don't have to deal that where you are. So one
No,
six
we,
zero
we just
zero.
all we do. So we just had four. I was actually in Philadelphia, and during while I was in Philadelphia
Sure.
2 weeks ago, we had 5 inches of snow in my house in North Carolina.
Yeah, yeah. So you're that too. So what I want to bring to life here, and we have so many people still watching in, you know, marketing to many dentists is kind of like either magic that works or magic that doesn't work. You're telling us you have these real metrics behind it. And I know you've helped people in our community transform their practices. Like just like I showed my patient at the end that I'm proud of. Share a story with us of someone who's, and I love that patient who I showed, he was like easy going from day one, right? But like I have patients who are not easy going from day one, and they're like sometimes the best stories because they really change. So, is there a story that you could tell us, whether you use a name or not, of an impact Energize has had on their practice, whether it comes to growth, happiness, more patients? Tell us
Yeah,
what's.
I can tell a few. We're pretty involved with our practices. I would say that we're a more hands-on marketer than most. And we really take a super interest in our clients. So first, we're really in touch with our clients. Most marketing agencies have one account manager for 100 practices. We have one account manager for 30 because we want to make sure that we
Oh,
have
nice.
those relationships are important to us. And I mean, I have a bunch. One that comes to mind, and I can use names with most of
Sure.
the Intel details. Um, One actually right up by you in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, is Fran Dolan.
Oh, nice. Hey, he's great.
Yeah, Fran opened up a startup about 3 years ago now, roughly, from zero. No patient startup, did it with Ideal Practices, the consulting firm, did a really good job with them, and signed on with us right away. I actually was just in PA and I stopped by Fran's practice, and Fran's practice now is 19 operatories, and he's doing somewhere in the realm of 500 to $600,000 a month in collections
Awesome.
in just 3 short years. And having the patient flow of the kind of patients you want for the dentistry you want to do allows you to kind of have the ability to scale and get there. And one place Fran's always really thankful for us is the patients that he gets needs a lot of work. They're not prophy patients. So,
Yeah.
on one side, he gets really excited because he's, when an energized client, an energized patient hits my chair, I know this is somebody who's 80% chance fee for service, which means I'm using a better fee schedule, so I'm not getting beat up by the PPO companies. And then also I know that they need a good amount of work. And it might take them, a long time to do the work, but I know the work exists and it's in their mouths and they become patients of record. And we start off doing treatment and that works really well. Another one that, the co-host of my podcast, Dr. Vallo, um, Andrew, over the last few years has gone from, I think, 0 to 8 practices in 2 years. All of them are $2 million plus practices. I have another doc. This actually story is actually this doc. I can't say a name. I have a doc in the Michigan area. He's an international doc. He's Iraqi. He came here first generation American, bought a practice in a really bad neighborhood that was failing, and he went from 0 to $710,000 a month in collections in 2 years.
Wow. That's
And
awesome.
he was just happy because he just wanted to do dentistry. He's just like, I can't afford. He was a new first generation immigrant to the United States. Getting financing was far hard for him. He saved up the money and basically bought like the shell of a dated, old, beat up practice for like 200 grand that he saved himself. And I mean, in today's world, if a broker valued that practice, I mean, he like more than 10x his investment. And for me being a former service member of the United States military, for a first generation immigrant to come to the United States and have that kind of opportunity and me being able to be part of it is for me very rewarding because
And,
that's
and that's the real ROI. Maybe you've heard me say this, but people think of ROI as return on investment, but I've reframed that as it's also relationships, opportunities, and the impact we have on others. And I've shared in the chat and my team how people can do a complimentary consult call with you because I know you are on vacation. I'm jealous. So maybe in the
I'm
beginning
not really I'm
you
speaking in Florida, but I went moving already.
you didn't see your my patient Janice, but it took me 3 years to convert her to trying out implants, and that relationship with me changed Janice's life forever. And the relationship Fran Dolan has with you has changed his life forever. And it all starts with a conversation about how people can work together. And whether there's 30 people on the Zoom or 300 people watch this later, it's just about taking that step and going into chat and talking to your team. Now tell Dennis about it. So if they were to click on our Nacho sponsor link and schedule a call with your team, what happens? Whether they produce 50 grand already, 100 grand, whether they love
Yeah.
implants or love cosmetic dentistry, now tell us what happens during that
So,
consult call.
so I'll tell you what our sales process is like. First, we do a really big discovery mission on your practice. I want to know what practice management software you use, what are you doing currently in collections, what your goals are. I want to know how many operatories you have. We ask you, what modalities of treatment you would like to grow. And a lot of times docs just tell us everything in their clinical ability. And we go, all right, so if we give you 40 denture patients next month, how would you feel? Oh, I wouldn't want to do that much. Well, what do you really want to grow? And we get into the modalities of treatment, and then a lot of times we even get into, and this is more than most marketers do, we also start asking questions about like what is your clinical bravery in the operatory? What is your propensity to refer out? So if I go buy X amount of patients for you for how many dollars, I need to make sure that we can keep most of them in-house and not refer a bulk of them out. So we're going to do a discovery call that is going to be very focused on the actual structure of the practice, the capacity you can physically have, the human structure, how the humans are in the practice, what modalities you like, what modalities of treatment that you're really passionate about, and then kind of about your process. Like, what is the process right now? How many credit applications do you do a month? What is your average patient value? We want to make sure that if we actually give you this level of traffic, what's going to break? And a lot of times in our experience is docs say, I want to go from 150 to $200,000 a month, or 100 to 200, or 150 to 300. It's always something like that. And we ask them, we say, do you understand what you're asking for? And they're like, well, no. Well, you're asking, if you want to go from 100 to 200, you're asking for us to double your stress and
Yeah.
discomfort in the practice. We have to create growth. There's no growth. Listen, any marketer, guys, who just yeses you to death and says this is going to be painless and awesome and this is the magic bullet and isn't asking these human capacity questions, doesn't really care about keeping you as a long-term client. I can't have your front desk person or your manager hate me. We have to be on the same team, right? So I have to be sensitive to some of this stuff. And a lot of times docs are like, yeah, I never thought that would double the stress
Right. Because we've been weirdly trained to think more new patients solves a problem instead of creating it. If you told me, hey, Paul, I can bring you 50 new patients next month or zero, I'd actually say I'll take zero because I can't handle 50 for my location. I could handle 15, but it took me years to even think about this because you're just trained like, and that's
yeah.
probably how these marketers, it's not a judgment, it's an observation. I say that. Just like sometimes dentists misrepresent how hard it is to transform a smile. And they go on, someone sees a commercial and they come in to me and say, I thought all this could be done in 2 hours. I go, that wasn't exactly the story. Same thing with marketing. Oh, we'll get you 100 new patients next month. And they don't think about that. And I think what you're really sharing is valuable for people to know whether they work with Energize or not. Just like really start thinking about your capacity. And you said something about the team. Why does the office manager get mad if this happens? Like if they're not ready for it, why do they get mad, or the front desk?
Well, what happens is, you know, staff are great. Like your team is a beautiful thing. They're this group of people that are around you that augment you, um, and make you a better version of yourself. They allow you to have more impact because they extend your impact. But you have to be sensitive to the team because the team is used to making a certain amount of effort for the amount of dollars they're paid per
Yeah.
hour. And when you come to us as a dentist, you say,
Right.
I want to increase from 100 to 200. What you're not telling your team is we either A, have to find a way to do all the things you're doing more efficiently and better to keep the same human footprint, but get more output. Or B, I hope I don't offend any dentists on this. Dentists kind of just take a viewpoint of not problem solving it and just saying, well, I guess you have to work harder.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to just do harder because I want to get to my goal and harder. And what ends up happening is, there's going to be something's going to break. Like you can't increase the capacity of the machine without maintenance and preparation and planning and
I always think of this, Matt. We have to wrap up in a minute, but there's a fun combo. I always think on Shark Tank, right? You always see I've watched so many Shark Tank episodes, and sometimes someone goes on and you hear that their website broke, right? Because I think everybody happened to rush on there and try to, you know, buy their product and they weren't ready for it. And it's a valuable lesson. But it's one thing for a website to crash, it's another thing for the humans to crash, right? So, I think what you're sharing is so valuable.
Yeah, I think it's something that like it has to be thought about. And I'll real quick, I just want to give two really helpful pro tips that anybody on the call can do to make sure you're ready for that capacity or start to refine the process to be ready for it, whether it's me or another marketer or whatever your goal is. A lot of times I find in most practices there isn't a written standard for what a patient experience is. It's
Yeah.
happening without intentionality, it's happening randomly. So first, everyone on the call, I challenge you to draft a document. What is the standard of patient experience in my practice? Now, the second part of the challenge is role play it from check in to check out. When are we deploying comfort items? How are the handoffs done? Who's walking the person back up? What is the greeting when they open the door at the front desk? In these scenarios, what do we do? And that intentionality and role playing that process and finding those efficiencies is actually probably one of the best things you can do, and it's never done. And I think it's something that can cost no money and no matter what within the practice can increase the patient experience and increase the efficiency of your machine.
I love that. Those are so valuable. I love what you do. I encourage people watching, whether watching live or this on recording, text Energize to 215-543-6454. Just do the demo. I really appreciate what you're doing, not just to support me, Matt, all of dentistry. Is there anything else you'd like to leave our audience with before we wrap up?
No, I love the Nacho community. It's probably my favorite community I spend a lot of time in. And whenever, I mean, whenever I have time to come on with you guys, I really enjoy it. So anytime I'm available and you guys need me, I'm down for help. Or anyone's on this call, you see me in the Facebook groups, you want to direct message me, you want to talk to me directly. It's not hard to get on with me directly. I have no problem making time for a dentist. Even if you just have a few questions about your practice or about my view on something, it doesn't have to be a demo call. You can just get up with me.
I so appreciate it. Well, thanks for spending some time with us today. What event are you speaking at down there?
So I'm speaking at the American Academy of Clear Aligners. We do a lot of
Oh,
clear aligners,
cool.
and they have a study group, a study hall, like a study club down here in Boca Raton, Florida. So I came down yesterday, went scuba diving, and then tonight I'm speaking for them.
Awesome. Well, enjoy. That's a great group. And is Galler there for that one, or is he
He's not. These are all the remote ones.
remote ones? Gotcha.
I speak in Vegas with Galler once a year.
He was in my dental school, so tell him I said hi next time you see him.
I think he was like a year behind you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're behind me. So awesome, guys. Thanks everybody for watching in. Nacho team, you guys are great. Enjoy your time down there, Matt. We'll catch up soon.
All right, see ya.